Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Colin O'Reilly Show. I am very excited. Today's episode, I have Rob Fultz on. Rob is a local up and coming LA comedian. He is tearing up the LA comedy scene. Rob, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you on.
It's a pleasure for you to have me here, man. Thank you.
Yes, and as we had mentioned before, again, I'm going to add you also. I should add for the listeners. Look like a young Errol Flynn,
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure. Of
who you had to
this,
Google.
I
I'm
had
just
to
kidding.
Google and to make sure he was good looking. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I think he is. He looks like, yeah.
yeah,
He's got hair. Everybody that has hair, I figure,
yeah,
is like Brad Pitt. So we're just gonna hop into it here, Rob. Tell me about you. Are you from Los Angeles? Are you transplant? What's your background?
yeah. I'm very much a transplant. I was born and raised in New Jersey along the Jersey Shore, um, and then I went to went to college in New Jersey. And after graduation, I ended up getting a job in the representation side of the entertainment industry. uh Ended up leaving that position, and in the process of finding a new job I ended up doing stand-up comedy, so
Well, you
now
just
I'm
kind of
here.
stumbled into it.
Yeah.
You did it when you were younger. Did you watch a lot of stand-up comedy? Was it something you saw yourself doing or wanted to do, or was it sort of just total happenstance?
Yeah, it was I was always been like interested in stand-up comedy. I never really went to, like, I guess, proper shows at comedy clubs. Like the first actual like stand-up show I went to was at an anime convention, oddly enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was
cool.
there was this comedian named Uncle Yo, and his whole thing was, I don't know if he's still doing it now, but like back when, and keep in mind this is when I was in elementary school. So this is like 10, 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
They He would just go around to different anime conventions along the East Coast and just make anime jokes and like pop culture jokes at these conventions, and he would sell albums, and my sister even bought one. So that was actually technically my first comedy album. But my first like real time like watching it or being exposed to it was late night on Comedy Central. I was watching with my cousin during the summer, and there was this, I'll never forget the joke because the guy was, it was like such like a perfect like child humor kind of joke where he was joking about riding a turret on a tank and just shooting shit out of the turret tank. And I was like, this is peak comedy here. And also my sister and I were kind of big fans of Dane Cook back when he was up and coming. So
Yeah. I love Dane Cook. He's great. He has such a great energy.
oh yeah, especially like during his peak with that I think I forgot what the special is called, but he just performed in like a circle.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
Uh,
remember what it's called either. The round or
there's
something.
around, or I think it was maybe Circle Jerk. It seems like you could
Yes.
name that back then. Yeah.
Or it should have been called that if it wasn't.
Yeah.
You should send him an email after this. Where did you go to college in Jersey?
I went to Rutgers. Actually, I
Oh,
started out in community college, um, which I personally recommend for like anybody. It was super cheap. I made a lot of like good friends there. Uh, Almost became an English teacher at a different university. Uh, but then then I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll go to Rutgers and I'll start doing film stuff. And I did like all sorts of kind of film stuff there. I was worked for my students' newspaper, and I got promoted to staff videographer. And my whole specialty, if you want to say that, was I would film protests, and like some of them were like pretty freaking extreme. Like
I
there was a
bet.
lot of almost altercations and like cops being called, and it was interesting.
I bet. I hate protests. I'm a total punk rock anarchist, but I do not like public is scary. You
Yeah.
must be so smart. Rutgers is so fancy, and to do the jump, you're like Goodwill Hunting, where like you started in community and then went to. I was like that, but I wasn't even. I didn't. I went to Loyola, which is not as fancy as
That's still
Rutgers.
a pretty fancy school though.
Yeah, and I went for. I transferred from Portland State, so I was
Oh.
like, but it was still kind of. It wasn't like community is bigger jump. I went to film school. I should have studied
Yeah.
computers. I was
Oh
so
yeah,
antiquated.
dude. I feel in that I studied film, so it wasn't technically like a BFA. It was, most of my degree was sitting in a dark room watching movies all day and then getting
Yeah.
into heated arguments with the professor about them. Uh,
Yep.
but if anything now, I liked my major. I liked the cinema studies part of it, but I would have added like some marketing something or whatever.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder if kids study film nowadays. I always wonder if kids watch movies. It
I
seems like it would be so hard for their attention span.
I mean, a lot of like families were into Barbie, so I'm guessing like that's a good sign.
That was, yeah. I mean, that is, it does seem like movies now when they come out, they're like events and
Yeah,
based on a pre-existing property. And
I
it's
feel
sort of a zeitgeisty thing.
I feel you on that. Like to some degree, I think it's just like also there's this growing passion for like more smaller independent stuff, like stuff out of A24. Even though if I don't know, you won't know if you want to call A24 a small company because they've gotten so popular. But like
Yeah.
I like how they promote you like all these original stories and with auteur directors for the most part.
Yeah, they're
So
killing it. They're just like, when I was young, I'm like 1,000 years older than you. I graduated college in like 2000, 2001, probably right
oh
when you were born.
no, I think I was
And
entering into an elementary school.
same
I'm s-
thing. But I used to intern and then worked as like an assistant at New Line Cinema.
oh shit, that's dope.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they're still around anymore, but they used to be kind of like A24. They weren't like as, I think A24 seems like they're so revered. Everything's like 4 stars
Yeah.
or 5 stars, where New Line was more genre. It was cool when I started there as an intern. They were making Boogie Nights,
Oh
Austin
shit.
Powers, Final Destination.
That's dope.
Um, yeah, it was really, really cool. But yeah, it was kind of those more kind of, they had respect and people thought they were, yeah, I was very lucky. Yeah, it was very cool.
I've gotten close to also I think New Line is still very much like doing cool stuff today. Uh and also with
Uh-huh.
A24, they're definitely it's weird because I never seen like such a like cult following, I guess, maybe in like my lifetime for just like a production and distribution studio where as soon as you see that logo pop up, you know it's going to be like a high quality film.
Yeah, they're like Pixar for grown-ups.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pixar used
it's
to be so high quality.
yeah, I haven't really seen anything much out of them. My buddy is like a really big animation guy. Like he made a career out of just reviewing cartoons on YouTube.
Ooh.
So like I gotta talk to him about like quality and stuff for Pixar movies, but
Yeah,
I think
that's
I'm
the coolest job ever.
yeah, he makes a good living out of it. Also
I
I
gotta
know
watch movies. Oh, sorry.
oh go on you no you're good. I
No, I was
think
just gonna say I haven't watched a movie in a million years.
dude man, you should did you watch the have you seen any of the Dune movies or
It's on my Hulu list. I've been meaning to watch it forever. I just work all the time and I'm old, and so I'm like I'm gonna fall asleep in 5 seconds.
I feel you.
Um, yeah, I heard it's really good and also based on a property. That's the thing for me is
Yeah.
like Barbie's kind of different, all this stuff, but it's just like they're all sort of based on things, and so it's just harder
Yeah.
for me to sit down and I need to do it. I used to love movies. I would watch them like crazy, and then I just sort of they got so bad. A24 is the opposite. I should be watching those though. I think I
Yeah.
just Netflix, I would see just how crappy they all were. And I used to schlep scripts around. I was like a
Yeah.
lit manager. And if I found something that was good, someone would give me money. And then it just got to the point when Netflix came out, they're like, we don't really care about quality anymore, it's just
Yeah.
quantity. We just
It
want
th
infinity stuff.
I feel like there was a good period of time, and maybe it's still going on today, where I always feel like the Netflix, the all the major motion picture companies are trying to compete with YouTubers, which is a
Yes.
whole different form of entertainment. Because YouTubers, they're like, I'm not saying they all of them put out like terrible content, but like they all are very good at like putting constant content out fast. So for
Yeah,
them, for a while, it
true.
was just like, let's just greenlight everything and try to compete with that. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. That's true. I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, that totally tracks because YouTube is just like it will just keep you in there constantly. Like
Oh yeah.
I'll get lost forever. I'm obsessed with, hence I have a podcast, UFO stuff. Part of me that is burp here, and I will just go down the rabbit hole for it's bad. I wish I could get paid to just watch UFO videos
That sounds like a
on
sweet
you.
gig.
It would be the sweetest gig of all time. Have you been following any of the UFO news as a young person,
Uh,
fresh
I
out of Rutgers?
fresh out of no, well, here's the thing, like kind of watch the
No, you're
news like
normal.
regularly, so like I
Yeah.
know what's so I just have a general idea of what's going on. but for the UFO stuff, like I hear like, I heard about the whole big meeting where they were like they on the debation of whether they like actually exist, and a bunch of like naval officers confirmed that yeah, we had UFO sightings. Like I
Yeah.
do think like aliens are real, just from like a weird logical perspective, because
Yeah.
it's like if you have like this infinite spanning universe, right? Where it's like you're flat out saying like no matter what, there's new stuff in the universe always being created. Like I feel like it would make more sense to that there would be another form of intelligent life on one of those planets than if we were just honestly it's kind of like, there was that saying like both from some sci-fi author, I think it was, where it's like if if it was like if we are alone in the universe, if we are not alone in the universe, then it is like scary. But
Yeah.
if we're the only ones in the universe, it is equally as scary.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah. I think I totally know the quote you're talking. Is that Arthur C. Clarke, maybe?
It sounds like something he would say, yeah.
Or Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of those.
Both are acceptable answers, yeah.
It's one of those guys. Yeah, I'm fascinated by it. I think the State of the Union is it this week? It's tomorrow, the next day. It's usually in January. So it's strange it got bumped, but I think they might bring it up.
They might. I know the big thing right now is the election cycle because I've been getting phone calls. I got a call there. I got a promo call during a mic once, and I just put that person on like into the microphone to let everybody know. Don't worry, I'm not getting rudely interrupted. It's just a random promo call. I don't
I
have
think
court.
to, I think today was election day. I think for
Yeah,
local elections.
yeah, for the primary and for local stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm spoiled. I grew up in Oregon where everything is vote by mail.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. I don't even know where my voting thing is. I live
Me,
in Venice. I am the law. Um, oh,
my
sorry.
I grew up in. It's weird because I grew up in growing up like when I started voting, I
Yeah.
never got the I voted sticker until I moved out here. Just for whatever reason, my district just didn't have I voted stickers.
That's awesome. That's my favorite part. I got one. I went to a mic last year, I think, when I first started, and someone was like, "Do you want to vote?" And I was like, "I don't live in this area." They're like, "Oh, it's okay. We can whatever." And I got the little sticker after. I was like,
Oh, that's
"That's
fuck. That's vote. That's dope.
yeah, that could fix
That's
America.
vote.
That could fix America. People love stickers. I always wanted to start. I always try to think of like small business ideas. A sticker store. I think it would be so cool because you would have no overhead. All you have to pay is rent, and you'd have to sell a lot of stickers. But
Yeah. If you sell them like by like the batch, I feel like you can make a decent profit. Because
yeah, you could sell in bulk, or people could make their own stickers, and then you could just have regular stickers.
yeah, that sounds like something you can like get away with in like a hipstery area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would have to be, yeah, like a fancy. I need to get on Shark Tank and get some money.
I mean,
Pitch them
it's look, we got a lot. You want to reward an employee for being good? Come to my shop and get him a little gold star, you know?
yeah, kids, teachers, people just walking by. It might be a tough thing,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The
I mean,
internet and people can make them. I feel like it's so weird to me. There's a mini mart next door to my house. I just went to buy a $5 little bottle of soda before we started, and they have a whole rack just of spray paint cans, just for kids to go. And I was like, that's crazy.
was it locked up or was it like just open free to
They're
grab?
just open, but right by the register. And a guy was
Oh,
like, "Is that just for taggers?" And the lady's like, "Yeah." She's like, "And that's why we keep them up here by the front register." I was like, "That's so bold."
yeah.
That's they're all fluorescent, so at least hopefully it'll make my neighborhood look pretty. Have you ever seen a UFO? Or in Jersey, the Jersey Devil? That's like sort of your
Yeah.
guys' little. It's like Leprechaun meets Bigfoot.
I mean, so the devil I know from my understanding of it is primarily in the Pine Barrens, which I have spent time in.
Yeah,
If you want to talk like horror icons that I guess I had a kind of close to relation to was I once camped out at where they filmed Friday the 13th, Crystal Lake. You know what I mean?
that's cool.
Yeah, so it was an off-season backpacking trip. Uh, and like our little home base area was Camp Crystal Lake, and it was cold as hell because it was North New Jersey in the winter, but it was also pretty sick. So
Yeah.
that's my closest to like I guess demonic beings I've countered, knock on wood. Uh,
Well, you did
but
live in Jersey, so I don't know if Chris Christie counts
oh,
much. He
hey
hates
man,
Trump, so I like him. So
yeah, he's an interesting character for sure. I can't confirm the super validity of the story because I think I only read one article on it.
yeah.
But I do have to credit him with getting Greg Siriano back to Rutgers, our football coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the story goes, he originally so Siriano was like a very successful in the early 2010s college football coach for Rutgers, uh, which basically means for successful by Rutgers football standards is going to a bowl game. There's no like national championship talk. We're just happy we have like a winning record.
Yeah.
Uh, he left to go do the NFL and then he bounced around the college football scene. But then we fired Coach Ash because he sucked. And there's really no light way to put it. He was just terrible. Um, they're like, well, we really need like I really need like a go-getting guy. So they tried to get him back, and he was making all these like, oh, I want my own personal plane and helicopter, which like sounds ridiculous. But on one hand, if you look at college football coaches, it's honestly it's kind of pretty standard to like what schools will give them. Uh,
Yeah.
but then Chris Christie came along, was like, kind of just like New Jersey bullshitted him, called new like a how to describe it, but like a NJ style, like you're a load of shit kind of deal, where he's like, motherfucker, I know you don't need a fucking goddamn helicopter. And he's like, come back if you really like the steak, fucking come back here. And he was like, fine, fuck you, I'll come back. And then now we go to bowl games, so it's nice.
That's a cool story. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I don't know. I think he seems not. I just hate all Republicans that make fun of him, but I'm sure he's nice. I was fascinated by New Jersey as a kid growing up because Bruce Willis, that was like
Oh,
he was my hero. He's from there. Springsteen, so cool. I forget. There's a bunch of guys from
Bruce
Bon
Springsteen, Bon
Jovi.
Jovi, My Chemical Romance, depending what age group you're in.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah,
There, I was too old, but I didn't know they were from there. Wow, that's
yeah,
they're really talented.
I believe they were founded within Newark, New Jersey, in Newark, New Jersey. Uh, and I actually went to their homecoming show because they broke up for like 10 years. They came back right before COVID. I bought these tickets to go see them because I really want to see them live in New Jersey for the first time. Obviously, I was living in New Jersey, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Uh, then COVID happened, so no concerts for like 2020 and 2021. And I was like, all right, whatever. I move out to LA, and then literally I was sitting at my old job and it just dawned on me that, oh fuck, I still have those tickets and I'm not giving up these MyChem tickets. So
Yeah.
I managed to get my friends back together and be like, we're going to this fucking concert whether you like it or not. And I flew back just to go see them live in Newark, and it was awesome. I went to a goth bar beforehand, just decided right then and there I'm going to get hammered as shit and be my friend's problem. Again, met up with it was crazy because we were waiting in line for merch because I had to buy my soon to be brother-in-law's. I had to buy him a MyChem shirt. Great guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was like upset I might not be able to see my other friends who were at the concert because we were like two separate groups going. And then as we were looking for the end of the line, I just heard like my friend Lala, who was with me, tap me on the shoulder and be like, they're calling your name. I was like, who the fuck is calling my name? I turn around, it's my other friend group. And we kind of just, may have just became one friend group to cut in front of the line uh, and get that exclusive glow in the dark MyChem t-shirt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I went to Jersey once in college in the 90s, stayed for a weekend. I had a roommate from there, and he's like, oh, come back with me. And you stay with my
Nice.
parents or whatever. And we took the train into the city.
Hell yeah.
I was born in New York, but I moved when I was like 2 years old, 3 years old, so
Yeah.
I don't remember it at all. But I told everyone before I left Oregon, I was like, I'm gonna meet David Letterman. I'm gonna meet Letterman. Everyone's like, yeah, whatever. And then we get to Jersey, take the train to New York, come up these stairs, and this guy, we're like 20 years old. I was such a hick. I'm from Tigard, Oregon. And this guy was like, do you guys want to buy some fake IDs? I'd been in New York for like 2 minutes. We're like, yeah. And he's like, come into my office in this alley. And we go in there, he just takes our money and runs. And then we walk across the street to the little late show thing or whatever. And we walk in that little Rupert's Deli. There's like a sandwich guy next door. And I was like, is David Letterman here? And guy was like, no, what are you talking about? And then I heard behind me, this guy goes, yes, I am. And he's like, who wants to meet me? And I turned around and it was David Letterman.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he's like, how long you been in town for? I was like 10 minutes. And I was like, I got mugged. And he's just like, yeah, that'll happen. And I shook his hand. He was super nice. Yeah. And
Oh, that's dope.
yeah, that was New York. I went home like a couple days later, but I don't think I've been back. I went back once, I think, since. I
I'm
love the
just,
movie Die Hard, and Die Hard 3 takes place there, so
dude,
that's pretty cool.
despite being a film person, I don't think I've seen any of the Die Hard movies.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's weird because I'll defend it being a Christmas movie because I think it's just a fun conversation.
You have to see Die Hard. It's the greatest movie ever made.
I'll probably go see it right after this.
Yeah, it's the best movie ever made. I'm sure it's on the internet in some
Oh, it's
way.
definitely somewhere. I think probably my guess Peacock.
Yeah, well, it's Fox. It was a Fox movie.
Hold up, I gotta look this up real quick.
And now Disney owns Fox. It's the greatest movie ever made. Die Hard 2, also amazing. Die Hard 3, not so good, but it was okay.
Hmm.
Takes place in New York. Die Hard 4, terrible. Die Hard 5, terrible. I think
I
there
get
was
it.
like a 6.
With the exception of the Rocky movies, I think anytime it gets past the fourth one, just gets terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's my thoughts on the Jarhead movies because the first one was this like great piece of like war commentary, and
Yeah.
then it was just like, we're gonna make it into the dumbest action movie physically possible.
Yeah, I didn't know they made sequels. That's a
Yeah,
weird
like direct
franchise.
direct to DVD sequels.
Those are terrible. That sounds terrible. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with this movie called American Ninja 4, starring Michael Dudikoff.
I think that guy still. I know there was a guy on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and
Yeah.
he was like one of those kids in that movie, and he was still teaches
Ooh,
karate classes, which is pretty cool.
that is cool. 80s was so good for karate movies.
Oh yeah,
The 80s was pinnacle in film.
I did karate a lot when I was a kid. I actually
Oh,
got up to like my black belt, but I stopped. So I really don't practice train anymore. But
yeah.
the biggest movie to all my karate teachers was like, you all should watch The Karate Kid. Like you should all. It
That's
was like
funny.
kind of not necessarily like built in every class, but it was definitely
Yeah.
kind of like, hey man, if you haven't seen Karate Kid yet, you know,
So good.
what'd you think of the Netflix show? Well, not net.
I
Well,
I liked it. I think it was Netflix, right?
yeah,
Was it Netflix?
it started out somewhere else and then it moved to Netflix. I know that.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. I started just oh, okay, yeah, I think I do kind of remember that. But I started watching it when it was on Netflix. Uh, and I loved it. I didn't watch all of them. There's like a bunch of seasons. Whenever it stopped when I started was like the second or third season. And I haven't gone back to Netflix. I just actually just got an email saying my Netflix thing I think got canceled because I haven't paid it.
Oh,
Um
Same here. I was using my mom's Netflix and then they did the whole household thing. And I was like, I really don't want to pay for this streaming service right now.
yeah, I shouldn't say this in public. I just pirate everything and I'm so good at it. There's this great shiny site and they just have everything. And so I just watch it on my phone. Um yeah, it's great. But I'm such a nerd if it's not like a podcast about UFOs. I'm like, I don't care. I don't, I'm
Yeah.
terrible.
Well,
Uh,
I
oh,
mean,
sorry.
there was this era of YouTube because I kind of grew up with YouTube where like
Yeah.
you could really find like anything on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I remember I was really into, speaking of like ninjas and stuff, I was like really into Naruto and I'm still like a Naruto fan now. But, I remember one day we had to go up to my grandparents for the weekend and we knew we were just not going to be able to get Cartoon Network because my sister and I were both into anime. Like we just that was our like like our like I guess brother sister bond thing. I don't know, like some
Oh,
siblings
that's
have that where
cool.
they're just both into the same thing and that's how like she still does like semi-professional cosplay and she's way more into it than I am. But
Oh, wow.
like we would like but there was this new episode of Naruto, and we're like, damn, we're really gonna miss it. So my sister was like, well, we can try watching it in Japanese because she was like, you know, she knew how to work the internet at a very young age. And then lo and behold, we learned that in Canada they air the English episodes first before the United States.
That's awesome.
So someone copied that screening of that one random Naruto episode, which by the way, for anime fans, like old anime fans from the early 2000s, next part's gonna sound insane. I think it was the full episode just uploaded onto YouTube and we found it and watched the whole thing one go. Which and the crazy part is it's the full episode because back then, like it would be divided up into parts. Like there'd be like four parts, part one, part two, and part three was always missing. So there was just be part four, and you had to guess what happened in part three. So that was wild.
That's awesome. Sorry, my cat's sitting here starting to meow. He's like, give me constant attention. My cat is named after an anime, not a, well, I don't even know if it's considered animation. His name is Thanos after the little Marvel guy.
Oh, Thanos? Nice.
Yeah, when I got him, like a homeless guy had kicked him, so he had like a swollen paw. So he, like
Oh.
he was, hello, buddy. Do you want to sit up here?
I thought he like when you said kick first, I thought like, oh, he kicked him out of like whatever. And then like I didn't know it was kicked to face.
My cat knows karate. Karate cat. That would be an awesome.
Uh,
You come up here, bud.
I
Usually just ignores me, and of course now because I'm doing a thing, he's like, "Give me constant attention."
oh,
Uh,
that's my roommate's dog. I love him to death. He's just like the minute he sees anybody, he just gets super excited and it's the best.
oh,
He's a
that's
he's he's a pit bull rescue.
that's awesome. I had one for 15 years,
Oh,
passed of old age right before COVID. That's cool. You get to live with one. You said, yeah, you said your roommate had. That's awesome.
yeah. And like what's nice about this roommate is he takes care of his dog. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I used to walk my dog like 2, 3 hours a day. It was great. I was in good shape. Walking is good, like for thinking.
Oh yeah, it's great. I honestly I prefer like I know this is like longer walks than to like shorter runs. I feel like that's just better for your knees.
Yeah. Yeah, as I get older, my knees are going to crap. I was
Um,
thinking the other day, I was like, I'm gonna start jogging on the beach like Rocky, like
uh,
Rocky too. Yeah,
my
it was
knees
so
would
sad. Oh, sorry.
oh no, you could no I was about to say like my knees would halt and catch fire if I started running on the beach right now.
Yeah, I've been trying to like bicycle, and now it's getting warmer out. I was like thinking of doing it. I gotta do something. I'll just start taking steroids. That'll be my thing. Have you followed any of the AI stuff in the news?
Yeah, I was so I was pretty big into the actor and writers guild protests because I'm a background talent, and aspiring writer and actor. I actually just shot my buddy's short, well, acting in, I should say. And that finished filming the other day. And I'll let people know when that comes out. But so I was pretty deep into both the writers and the actors protests, especially when the actors came around because they were, I'm a background talent. I'm visible in like one TV show. Uh, so for me, the whole like replacing, you know, background actors with like AI generated and all that jazz, I was like, I'm not for that. So I was out there, not every day, but I was trying to be out there whenever I can.
Have you seen, part of me is like drink Pepsi here. I now choke on it. Have you seen those short new AI video clips on like Instagram? I think it's called Sora.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, blows me away. I'm like, Tyler Perry, he had announced he was going to break new ground and build. It was like $800 million investment on these new giant sound stages and studios, acres in Atlanta. And they put it on hold because of that. They were like, you kind of don't need that anymore. I was like, that's crazy,
Yeah,
like
it's
that's,
scary, man.
it really is. I think of now kids in film school. Yeah. Like, what would it be like? You would just type in, make student film.
It's just poor, it's just automatic poor lighting.
Yes.
Actor doing their best to act for the first time.
I was what I would because I went to film school in like the late 90s, and so we would use 16 millimeter film
Oh,
and
nice.
Super 8, and yeah, we would edit it on like these flatbeds, and it was just a different world. That was my last year of college. It was like 2000, 2001. We got in, they called them Media 100s, and they looked like desktop computers, but they were just for editing. And the wait was like you would sign up for like an hour or two 3 months ahead of time. And each one costs like $150,000 or whatever. And you're just like,
Shit.
this is the future. It's like trying to edit your 30-second thing. Or now it's, yeah, I never would have
Oh
imagined.
no, you can edit a 30-second thing on anything now, like your phone, uh, fucking
Yeah.
potato, microwave, even probably.
I just tell terrible dad jokes. I record it on my phone. I wake up the next day with my thumbs and I'm like trying to squeeze and I'm so old, everything's like
Oh,
blurry. And I'm like trying to, I'm just like, what is
I'll do unless it's like very light editing. I always throw it into Premiere or some type of editing software. I can't edit with my thumbs. It's just too much, man.
it is. It's so hard. There's nothing you can do. You can just, it's very rudimentary of like start, stop. That's like all you can really, it's like a Fisher Price. I'm too lazy. I should put it into like iMovie, but then I'm like, I'd have to plug my phone into my finger.
Well, you can what I do is from sharing video from your phone to your desktop, I just put it in Google Drive and just re-download it onto my desktop.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. It's
I
just like
love Google Drive.
it's so good. Not an endorsement because they don't pay me, but like
Yes. I remember when YouTube came out and I was like blowing everyone's mind in the industry. Yeah, I was like a young manager. It was like, you can send videos over email now. When you become a big famous comedian and then you die, do you want to be a hologram? Would you want to be like a Tupac?
nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm at the moment I'm good. I don't it'd be weird if it like knock on wood if it happened like now. I don't know like what 5 minute stand-up clips you're gonna make into an hour special of me. And
Oh,
like
that's so sad. Someone at
but
the Hollywood Comedy Club would be selling the hologram Rob Fultz
hologram.
special.
I do
Like
you
George Carlin, that was so sad. I was like,
yeah.
he would have hated it the most. He was so like anti, that stuff.
Yeah, it's weird that someone actually tried to do that. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I've been kind of no interest in seeing it to be honest with you.
me
I
either. It
just
was pretty good though. I heard someone, I was telling someone, I was like, I could never watch it. And they were like, I felt the same. They're like, I tried to check it out. And they're like, it makes you even more mad because they're like, it's pretty good. It's like, yeah, but
well,
it's devil. Yeah, it's terrible.
I know there was one guy making AI generated episodes of Seinfeld for a while, but then NBC got
Yes.
him.
I loved it. I would watch it for hours. Yeah. It was like self-generating AI. And at first it looked pretty okay. It
Yeah.
kind of even looked like the backgrounds and the set. And then I think he started to get sued. So then it became like stick figure that like slowly was getting stripped down.
Yeah. Well, someone's gonna say something eventually with that.
Yeah. Hollywood ruins everything. Authority,
Eh,
the law. I'm gonna get sued because I
I-
was talking about piracy. Well, Rob, I
you
think
could
this
say you could say for legal reasons there was a joke
yeah,
to quote him.
exactly. For legal reasons.
For legal reasons. For legal reasons, I was joking about seeing that one episode of Naruto early.
I would be the saddest person to sue because I have nothing. Like, you're not getting my cat or my skateboard.
You
That's all
can
I got.
you can have one of my free open mics at the Hollywood Comedy. That's what I'll give you.
Yeah, exactly. Even that I wouldn't give. I would fight to the death for that. Yeah, that's a great little club. Yeah, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and in the '90s during grunge, and we had all
That's
like these punk rock music clubs, and they were all that's very, very similar.
dude, that's sick. I grew up kind of in the New Jersey pop punk scene, I guess. Like mainly, I mean, I went to a couple like local shows along the show. Sure, actually got into the Stone Pony, which is where Bon Jon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen started out at. Well, one of the clubs that they
Wow.
started out at. I got in for free there once because I was a band's videographer. After I already paid for a ticket, I was like, "Oh, this is cool," but it also like still kind of sucks that I had to pay money. But but then I really loved was the in college I hung around like the New Brunswick basement show scene, which was like I guess kind of in a way like a for lack of a better term very like DIY and underground because the only way you would find out about these shows unless you follow one of the bands on social media was there was this group chat of just like every like member of this like scene. And what someone would do is if they had a show on a weekend, they would uh post the poster of it in the group chat
That's
and
cool.
then be like DM for Addy. And you have to go to the guy, DM like, hey, what's the address? And you hope that he would respond back to you, or he or she will respond back to you in a timely manner. Sometimes not always the case, but then they get you the address and you go like, I would take buses with a couple of my college friends to these shows. I would just walk in like the middle of the night to go to like some random house that was like you had like 8 people living in it, and then like it was like normally $5 to get in, but like you were hoping that the door guy was getting distracted by something or just didn't care, so you just got in for free. You buy some beer or whatever, buy a cigarette, get some weed or whatever, and just go into the show, just drink, smoke, and have a good time. It was awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, I grew up playing drums and I grew up in Tigard. Yeah, it was a little more rural in Portland, but that's so cool. I hope kids are still doing that nowadays. I always wonder that if they're going to clubs and playing shows and
I think so, man. I don't think it's like a I don't think it's like truly that I think it's just like the integration of technology, but the aspect of still like wanting to go out and meet people is still there. Like I know there was
yeah.
this big thing for a while where it was like, oh, like even if people get into a group of friends, they're all, no matter what, they're always looking at their phones the entire time. But then some pointed out it was like, well, actually, no, the phone is integrated as like kind of like a fact checking tool, but everyone's still communicating in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in something like in that regard, where it's like, oh, what's like people debate where did bread come from, and then someone pulls out their phone and be like, oh, bread came from Egypt. Like, I don't count me on that one. I don't know where bread came from.
No, totally. But yeah, no, like facilitates or it's more of becomes an extension of them and the hanging out experience rather
Yeah,
than yeah, I could see that. That's cool. I live on my phone and I always feel like I kind of know what's going on around me. If I
yeah.
was a kid nowadays, though, I would not go outside. I would just play video games and
Dude, well, unless your parent forced you outside, you know what I mean? Really?
yeah. I grew up with Atari. It was kind of cool in that way. It's like there was only so much you could do. There was
Yeah.
only so long you could stare at Pac-Man. But if I had had Halo or Skyrim in VR, I would have diabetes and
Oh, dude.
be more of an incel than I already am.
Yeah, I was I mean, I grew up with like in middle school. That's when I got like Xbox Live.
Yeah,
So like no, I do miss the days, even though I sucked at video games. I still kind of suck at video games. If like
yeah,
I'm not competing pro or anything.
yeah.
The only game I'll actually ever admit to being like relatively good at was Titanfall 2. But
Oh, that's a great game.
oh, so fucking good. They're
That's
gonna
great.
hopefully make a third one. I tried getting into Apex Legends. I unfortunately couldn't get that cup of tea.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I kind of had that vibe of I didn't like it. I love Fortnite. I'm like 1,000 years old, but it's like Super Mario Brothers meets like just, GoldenEye or whatever. I grew up
Yeah,
in the 80s, so I've seen the whole spectrum and I've always been a nerd, like super into it. I loved Atari, I loved Nintendo, I
yeah.
loved Xbox and all that stuff. And yeah, I love just watching it grow and see where it's going. And it's VR I
Especially,
can't super do.
yeah.
I get a little seasick. A
Yeah, like
little
I mean, I don't have like the capacity for. I don't think my PC would probably also halt and catch fire if it tried running VR. I tried playing a Rainbow Six Siege with my friends, and I
yeah.
swear this computer, like, if somebody throws a flashbang in that game, my entire PC will stop and be like, "What is this? What are we doing?" Like, no.
Well, if you get the new Oculus Rift, you don't need
Ooh,
you don't need any like PC setup. It's all sort of self-contained.
that's cool.
Yeah, and now you can hook it up to Xbox and Steam. And it'll all sort of do it on there, and it's pretty cool.
It's
But you can kind of do pass through, so it looks like you're just staring at a giant screen. But even then, I'm just like, I get a little queasy.
yeah, like I
I like
mean,
TVs. I'm like, I just need to.
I don't know. My roommates and I have a projector, which is honestly was a dope investment.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's like because for a while we just had like a TV and everyone would kind of watch it, but there was just like big empty wall. And then one day
Yeah,
I think one of my roommates just put up a projector, and now
that's awesome.
playing video games on that thing is dope.
Yeah, I have a tiny studio and it's like a window on each wall, or I would definitely get one. It's that's the coolest way ever to play video games. Yeah, I'm such a nerd. I started streaming on Twitch. Like
Oh
I know
shit,
everyone.
nice. Congrats.
Yeah, follow me. I only have one follower. I don't have a webcam yet, so it's just gameplay. But I was so proud of myself the last time I played. It was Fortnite. I sound like such a nerd. No build, and I got 15 eliminations and the win.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
Congrats,
I
man.
was just like, I'm so awesome. And then lost everyone after that, but I'm hooked. It's so fun playing. And then I've the most viewers I've ever had is three at a time. But on, I don't know if you have Xbox, it's so easy. You just on the start menu, it's like start streaming,
Yeah.
and then it just instantly does it. I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I used to stream early 2016 Overwatch on my Xbox One.
Love
That was
Overwatch.
fun.
Yeah. Now it's changed a bunch.
Yeah, it's my roommate's into it. I was like, I was gonna try getting into it a friend, but it was like another like $60 I had to spend to get it on my computer. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
That's what's cool about Xbox. And it's oh my phone, sorry. That's I'll edit that out. And it was a telemarketer too.
No,
On Xbox, it is free Overwatch.
that's
A
dope.
lot of the stuff is just now like Fortnite style, like just giant sandbox. They've been trying
Yeah,
to get you in there.
that art style picked up pretty quick, which is also I think kind of funny with Fortnite is originally was this like a group survival, like not necessarily survival horror, but like you guys would people would build stuff and try to survive the night kind of deal. And
Yeah.
then it just they completely abandoned that because the battle
Lego
royale took
Fortnite.
off.
Yeah. I don't know if you played Lego Fortnite at all. I tried. I couldn't get into it. It was like too little kitty for me, but it's that was kind of like the old style where it's like you got to make it through the night and you're like
Oh, that's
build a
cool.
little Lego cabinet. And yeah, I just love it because like they're always updating it. Now I actually haven't played in a while. It gets a little repetitive because it's just like the same island a thousand times. But I do like how they update it and it's just bright colors. Some of the games like Call of Duty got so depressing. I was like, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
PTSD from.
Well, like there was a good period of time where all video games were just like these dark, drabby colors, where it's like different shades of brown. Like
Yeah,
especially for shooters with like, I still love these games and all, but it was like Gears of War, Call of Duty, all of
yeah.
them were just like the same shade of brown multiple times.
I would play like Halo, whatever. It was like Halo 4 or 5. They kept going, and I'd have to like turn the brightness up on my TV so much because it was like so, yeah, just heavily pixelated. I'm like, is that an elbow? Is that like a bad guy? Is that, I don't know what's going
Um,
on. Well, dude, this was very awesome, man. This was the best show ever. Naruto fans around the world will be overjoyed in our episode. We're gonna
well,
get 12 views on this one.
sweet man, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone who's listening can see Rob performing around town.
Yeah,
Um,
I got
Tearing it up.
I got a show real quick. If I do mind if I just do some quick plugs.
Please, please, yeah.
I gotta pull up my calendar actually. My next show by the time this podcast comes out will be at I feel like an adult. I'm pulling up my calendar.
Yeah, this is cool. You're my first plug on the show. This is so
Sweet.
fancy.
Thank you. It's my next show is going to be March 15th at Flashback Comedy Club in Van Nuys, California. And my Instagram is at the Royal Fultz. So feel free to come check me out.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's such a professional sounding plug.
Thank
And
you.
the Ides of March. Caesar would be so proud.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you again for having me here, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You made Bruce Willis proud and Springsteen and Jovi. Well, right on. Have a great day, Rob. We will talk soon. And to everyone listening, to my 10 total audience members now,
Yeah.
thank you guys. Cool. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week. Thank you.
Bye bye.